I hope the stream is back. The stream should be back. I have no idea what happened. Now you're getting advertisements, so I will wait. No idea what happened there, I'm sorry guys. Someone must have stumbled over my wireless LAN cable. So I hope everyone is back. Is this a one-person project? No. It's a two-person project, and the second programmer of Citybound is Michael, MSLS in the chat, and he's been interacting with the community really as much as me or more lately. All right. So let's continue nonetheless. We'll just create another mesh. We call it outer path mesh in an extreme case of creativity. So let's move this here. Outer path geometry. Keeps buffering. Well, that's just bad, and it also shows low bandwidth for me. I don't know what would be the best way to check what's happening, but I see so many dropped frames. One moment. Alright, so I'm still not really sure what the hell is happening, but there seem to be no new dropped frames, and this looks green for quite some time. So I hope it's good now. Let me know what it's like for you guys now. No, it should be fine. Please let me know if it's as fine for you as it looks for me. All right, that's good to hear. Let's continue. Okay, well, I'm glad that the stream seems to be working for everyone again. I have no idea what the hell that was. So now we should get a first version of the second path on the back here. Yes, exactly as I wanted. But it, depending on the direction, it goes in the wrong, it's on the wrong side. How to detect that? Well, I guess for the first point, we can use the first point as a reference. Let me think. Well, that just sounds like an interesting idea, and I wish you the best of luck. What to compare this with the very first point, I guess. I need to use the dot product there and yes, if this is bigger than 0, like if they point in the same direction, I hope I just do this correctly, then I don't want to invert it, and else I want to invert it. Let's see. Again, feels like programming by guessing. Doesn't even work at all. What's the matter? Undefined is not a function. This is a function of its path. Yes, I guessed correctly. I can get the orientation from a dot. I'm not interested in orientation. I'm just interested in if the two directions point opposite to each other or same to each other, and for that I can use the dot product because it kind of works like a projection. Okay, so Let's see what happens if we have an intersection. Like, what we will notice is that the back line now also has a loop and a self-intersection. Like that. Or like here. But we should be able to just use the code we created earlier to remove loops and self-intersections for the front line and just reuse that for the back line. Yes, looks like it works great. Now what happens if we do something like this? It can't really deal with... Okay, that's just crazy. Ignore that, please. So this is kinda wonky. It doesn't want to do the second one here. Even if we do it like that carefully, why does it stop there? Why does it decide to just stop there? Let's disable that again and see what actually happens in this case. So here we have a small loop, and here we have a second small loop. Ah, and actually one in the first lane that doesn't get resolved. That's interesting. What do you mean? Can't you just follow the first path shape there? That's exactly what I'm doing, but if you do that, you will end up with additional loops again. Like, I can try to do the movement slowly so you can see how these points are created. If that makes any sense. So I think this problem arises if we have two intersections after each other. Yes. Now let me try to verify that by doing something like this. I think here it should work according to my theory. Almost. I don't understand why it does that. What? Okay, no, that's just weird. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure what you referred to anymore because I drew so much and the stream has significant delay. Yes. You mean exactly what I just did. Yes, I also don't understand why it does that. Like if I start here it works properly, but if I do this, like there's something wrong with the self-intersection code that makes it not work. And yes, I have to think about, I don't properly handle some stuff there. So let me look at that, or rather stare at that. Yes, we're implementing Modern Art Simulator 2015. Yes, I wanted to ask you if the straight skeleton code is already advanced enough so I can use it on a single line. Like, can I already use that to create wavefronts? Or do you need to do the implementation for convex polygons first? Concave polygons, I mean, sorry. Yes, it's already kind of split because it consists of segments, and I think I'm just not creating the correct segments. So let me look at especially this part here. I must be doing something wrong. Oh, okay, but that's not a problem at all. I will try to make it work like that because it should also work in this primitive way. No, I should be able to do that and it works properly. It works properly if I start here. See, they're perfectly fine in parallel, but as soon as I create a self-intersection at the corner which gets resolved, something that just doesn't work, like it's missing some segments in between there, and I have no idea why. Like here, why doesn't it do that? Like it's missing the last segment, I guess. Yes. And why is that? Do we get some exceptions here? No. Yes, definitely. But I will just try to make it work with this now and then swap in wavefronts to get a nicer solution. Well, not really accidentally. Like, I already knew that I would probably be able to use wavefronts for exactly this, and I wanted to ask you. but I just got it working like this, or kind of working, so I didn't feel like I needed wavefronts right now. Is the problem with our epsilon value here? Let's use something bigger, but it shouldn't be. No, it still happens. Oh no, nothing gets created here. That's interesting. What happens here? Well, definitely interesting. Yes, how to find out what it does wrong. Like, it should in every case create the last segment as well. It stops on the first intersection it encounters, creates a segment up until the intersection, and then from the intersection to the end. But maybe we're jumping too far ahead here, I guess. No, I was afraid that I'm not resetting this in the loop, but I am resetting it. But how can there be even an intersection on the last segment? Like, it would need to be with an earlier segment, and then we would have already detected it earlier. So there should always be a next segment index. But definitely good thinking. Like, it seems to only affect the segment after a self-intersection, so let's just create a lot of them and see what it looks like. Like here it starts working again, it only affects the immediate next one. If I go in this direction, it's fine, of course. Here something stupid happens, but ignore that. So this one is wrong. Same happens here. So maybe this should really be yes, because it gets incremented after the fact. I think this might be it. Let's see. I noticed there's a problem with creating intersections with roads that are almost straight. That's an interesting, probably problem with inaccuracies in the geometry code again. Something strange happened. Alright, let's try now. Yes, now it seems to work good. Let's try another case. Yes, I just got confused with indices there. I'll explain in a second. Right now we have to set self-intersections, but it continues to work great. And same here. So the problem was that I thought, well, I want the next segment index to be O+1. But the problem is I set S, my loop variable, to next segment index, and then in the next loop what happens is this condition gets checked and then it gets incremented again. So now S is 1 too big. I want S in the end to be O+1. So I have to set the to O here basically, so it can become O+1 in the next loop iteration. So just to make sure, I want to try a couple more cases. Alright, so here something is definitely strange. Like it only deals with the first self-intersection or what? Apparently yes, interesting. Why does it deal only with the first one? Also, I'm basically assuming that it is contiguous before I try to simplify it. Yes. Just because of the way it's created, it should be. Yes. As always, you're very close to the issue in the code. So let me see if it works if there's several segments in between, like we had earlier. No, now it works correctly. The issue is just if I guess I have two self-intersections on the same segment. Yes. Yes, let me think about how to do that properly. So like see here we have one segment but with two self-intersections, and right now we explicitly only handle the first one. So how to even understand this? So if we have another self-intersection but with a later segment, then we want to connect the two self-intersections and then continue with the very latest segment. How to understand that? No, it's slightly simpler than that. Like our next segment index can itself have an self-intersection, and now we just assume that it doesn't. I almost have it, give me a second. Some is in deep thought, indeed. So we will continue even one earlier and set previous to intersection position. Then we do the next one. We don't do this here. If previous intersection position else this. If we found another self-intersection, this is the new case that we have to deal with, else we just have to finish the segment. So offset of previous intersection is segment offset of previous intersection position, and let's make sure to set it back to defined afterwards. Direction of previous intersection. I don't have a fixed time left in mind. I will just see how I feel, but I feel like doing some more right now. I think we need this in either case, yes. So this is what we had here. So we push in segments, push previous intersection position, direction, previous intersection, and then segment dot end. so we don't need that anymore. Else, if we have a previous intersection and a new intersection, offset of new intersection. I think we already calculated this somewhere. No, we don't. Yes, and we just need that. Where is this used at all? Oops. Oh no, but we need it for this calculation. All right. Sorry for random, just rambling a little bit, talking to myself. I will be done in a second. So in this, we don't need direction. Here we only need offset. So in this case, we will create a segment that connects the two intersections on one segment. Previous intersection position, previous intersection, direction of previous intersection, and then why do we even need the offset? We don't need the offset. We just need the new position. Intersection position. All right. And we want to continue with the next segment. Whew. Let's try this increasingly complicated algorithm. Alright, so looks like I'm getting exceptions. Undefined is not a function. Where? How about a more helpful location for this exception? Right. Did I do something wrong? Like this should still work fine. Alright, now it just goes crazy on the first self-intersections, which is bad. How about first we just don't care about that and make the previous case work. Bye text mirror. Was nice to have you. Let me try to understand what's happening here. This went wrong. Oh wait, that's weird. I'm creating... What am I creating here? Something weird. Yes, I should. New curve. Bye bye, PSO leader. So now first our old simple case should work again. Or not. Interesting. I kind of want to end the stream slowly, but I think I almost got this working. Now it doesn't like it at all anymore, because I guess here I did the same mistake, yes. Yeah, thanks. Well, the result is just modern art again. Like now it seems to be to forget about the first segment. Okay, the inner one is fine-ish, but also not really. Yeah, the problem is sorry, I should just be speaking louder, like I'm mumbling to myself, and I could turn up the microphone even slightly more. I think like this should still be fine. It doesn't hit maximum level for me, but I should just not mumble as much and talk instead. All right. Why does the first piece go missing now? Like that shouldn't be the case. Like now it just completely eats the first two segments. Everything that you can see, like the roads and the paths, is based on code of Michael. So I'm definitely using it. I'm not using his new code that he's working on now, but I might be in the future for this very particular problem. Alright, I will set myself a time limit of 10 minutes, and if I can't solve it until then, I will just end the stream in a sad way. And if I will solve it until then, I will end it in a happy way. Let's see. This should probably be s+1. I don't want to intersect the segment with itself. Interesting that it didn't cause problems before. And then I can I stop one earlier? Yes, that's... Well, it's kinda mean to ask Michael to stream right after me, because he got up at 3 AM for this stream and kept going right until now. And I really think he should probably get some sleep first before he streams himself. But of course I also don't want to tell him what to do, so... Okay, that didn't make it better. Ah. I don't want to set that here, obviously, but here. And also here, I guess. Alright, looks a lot better. The second one doesn't really move enough. That second side you added won't do anything. Interesting. Whoops. Now I closed chat. Great, I should be more careful with my keyboard. Please don't write anything important. I will have you back in a couple seconds. Alright, I have chat back. If you said anything important in the last couple seconds, please just copy paste it. Oh, the second one won't do anything, that's true. Like this, it should be correct. And yeah, I should also set it to undefined, I guess. But I can only read there. Now it looks correct. But interesting. Seems to work pretty well. Like there's still small glitches, as you can see. But I would say I got as much working as I wanted. Looks great. I didn't expect it to work that well that quickly, but it does. Well, I guess you just saw what happens if I go around the end of a road. Like nothing, it can't deal with that yet. Alright, so I will do a final Q&A now. Yes, it even looks cool when it messes up. That's probably the most fun part about doing visual programming like that, that the bugs always look interesting, like what the hell is that even, I don't know. Or here, let's see what happens here. Oh, crazy. But alright, let me know your last questions for today and I will answer them and then say goodbye. What's your next step after finishing the area placement? Setting in place the system for assigning an area that you just created to a particular zone and setting its regulation parameters. It's actually kind of fun to just play with and draw along these roads like that. Yes, I'm also really glad to be back and this involved with you guys. When will you stream again, or is it random? I would say it's random. Like I usually decide on the day that I will do that. Probably during the week I will stream in my morning again, so it's evening for Americans. Today it was very comfortable for me that I could stream in my evening, which is like around noon in America. In your current intersections, the middle lanes don't have a path, or am I missing something? They do have a path, but because Citybound thinks in terms of lane bundles, like it doesn't think in terms of individual lanes, but there are 3 straight lines which are grouped in one lane bundle, and it only gets this one lane displayed here, but this this red line actually represents all 3 lanes going straight. What do you think of giving a zone multiple types? Well, that will be possible. You create a shape and then you can select multiple zones. That's definitely planned. Not role related. One thing that bugs me with SimCity, etc. is that energy is instant. Those buildings should be built over time as well, so you have to plan in advance. You mean it should take time for resources for buildings to arrive before they can be built. Use the fluid simulation for future smog. Is this idea any good? Well, the fluid simulation can definitely be used for weather effects like smog or even clouds. And yes, I will try to use it for that. Would it be possible that you turn on stream when you're in a hard coding mood? Just without the commentary and the Q&A stuff? Well, I don't know, sometimes during the stream I have these moments where I'm concentrating really hard and like I even stop talking sometimes. And I'm not sure for how many people that's still interesting to watch, so if you could give me feedback on that, that would be interesting, because I could imagine also doing like, I don't know, like streams with less interaction, where I'm maybe not even talking, just doing stuff and you can watch me. Please let me know if you would be interested in that. Like, imagine a stream where I just do stuff without explaining it, maybe even without sound at all from me. How often do you shave, and have you ever grown a beard? If the latter question is yes, can you show us a picture? I try to grow a beard, but it's in the background you can hear my wife laughing. It's not a pretty sight, and I won't show you pictures. And it's just something that I shouldn't do at this point. Who knows, maybe at some point in my life I will be able to grow a magnificent computer sciencey beard, but right now I'm not really keen to experiment. I think you refer to buildings. I think I also prefer buildings appearing pretty quickly and not having to wait for resources and so on. Clouds can be done without simulation. Yes, that's definitely true. I will think about where fluid simulation makes sense. Like if it's, I think even for smog something simpler would be enough. Honestly, when you're concentrating, I find myself concentrating at the same time. Silence is not a bad thing, it just shows you're working hard. Okay, nice that you think about it like that. Being German, would you do a stream where you code to heavy metal blasting in your ears? Well, I used to listen to a lot of metal, so it wouldn't even be something that unusual for me. And I actually found out that if I listen to metal, I think and type quicker, so maybe I should try that on stream sometime. Well, yeah, but Banished is kind of a different game. Like, that's kind of the point of Banished, that you have to pre-plan resources, and Citybound really isn't about the resources in your city. It's about the spatial layout and planning ahead for demand and trying to predict which areas will be interesting for residents and businesses and so on, and making money with that. Have you had tea with Putin yet? Well, he said he doesn't have time. Okay, I don't think I should ask anymore. I'd watch an interactionless stream. Coding is cool. Well, that's great to hear. I would love to see you coding without talking. Well, that's great that you guys say that, because that's completely contradictory to my intuition about it. I will try doing that. I'd love to watch you coding even without interaction, but I imagine it would be hard to ignore the chat, etc. Well, sounds like a lot of people would like that. It will work again to add lanes like that. All right, your very last questions, please, and then we'll call it a day. Oh, I forgot, I want to do a quick live stream review, but I think it can be a very quick one today. All right, actually, write down your last questions. In the meantime, I will do a quick live stream review, and I'll try to not screw up as badly as last time. Hello everyone and welcome to the livestream review of the 8th of March livestream. Today we worked on re-implementing the zoning brush that you might already know from the past, where if you have some roads, in order to draw zones, you just select the zoning tool and then you can draw along roads and this will be a zone. What you see here is not the complete zoning brush yet, but just some debug information that shows the shape that will be a new zone, and that's what we worked on today to make this properly follow roads. It's still a little bit glitchy, as you can see here, sometimes weird stuff happens, but in general it can deal pretty well even with acute corners like this and create the correct zone geometry, which will then be used to generate building lots, and hopefully soon Michael's code on so-called straight polygon skeletons will be done, which is very good at subdividing, or which can be used to subdivide shapes like that into irregular building lots. So this today is kind of the first step towards using his code for that, and yes, I'm really looking forward to what zoning and irregular shaped lots will look like soon. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching this review, and now we'll switch to final questions and answers. Have you visited Lenin's mausoleum? If you have, what did it make you think, feel? Well, I did, and interesting how I would describe my feelings. Like, it was surprisingly unspectacular, I guess. I don't know if I expected more or something, but you just enter a really nicely looking room where he lays there, kind of prepared. And what was kind of weird is that you're as a visitor, you're sent through this mausoleum and you're almost like being pushed through it, like you can't stay there for really long, or guards will tell you to please go and let other people come. That was kind of weird, I guess. So you just like go there, look at him, appreciate what that looks like, I guess, and you go again, and that's it. I don't know what I expected from a mausoleum, but the process felt kind of weird to me. Live streaming like this is still better than streaming with no talking. A mix of the two would probably be best. So I can also try to like do a normal stream and then just have longer sections where I don't talk, but I don't know how strange that would be for people who join in, like if they expect that. I think you should say goodbye to the YouTube viewers after the review. Well, the reason I don't is because I want them to see some of the questions and how I answer them, both because there might be some interesting ones as well as to just familiarize people with the concept of Q&A. Yeah. It felt weird on YouTube to not have a precise ending. Well, that's good feedback, so I'll try to give it a precise ending next time. Alright, and that's where I will end it for today. Thank you all very much for watching, both people live as well as, I guess, people on YouTube. Like I said earlier, I don't know when the next live stream will be. It's kind of random, but I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all very soon. Bye bye.